For 3 years, the Dominion had occupied Earth. They came not to conquer, but to harvest, to strip the planet of resources and enslave humanity for labor. The invaders were ruthless, organized, and utterly unstoppable. They had weapons that bent physics. They had technology that turned cities to ash in seconds. They had conquered 1,000 worlds before Earth, and 1,000 would follow. Humanity had been forced to surrender within weeks. The resistance formed in the shadows. Not in the grand capitals or military installations, the Dominion controlled those. The rebellion grew in basements and subway tunnels and forgotten industrial zones. Led by a woman named Rebecca Storm, the resistance consisted of ordinary people, factory workers, teachers, farmers, nurses. People who had nothing left to lose. The Dominion commander, Velcross, was confident. He'd crushed 100 rebellions. Humans were soft. Weak. Emotional. They broke easily under pressure. He didn't understand what he was facing. The first attack came at dawn. Not a military strike, the resistance had no military. Instead, they sabotaged the Dominion's water supply. Not with explosives, but with compounds that rendered the water undrinkable. Simple. Effective. The invaders had to shut down half their operations to find clean water. Velcross was amused. Primitive tactics, he announced. Crush them. But the humans didn't stop. They poisoned supply lines. Not fatally, just enough to force the Dominion to redirect resources to finding new routes. They disabled power stations through methods so simple that Dominion engineers couldn't believe they hadn't anticipated them. They flooded the labor camps by understanding the water infrastructure better than the invaders ever could. Every action was a mosquito bite, insignificant on its own. But mosquitoes never stop. Rebecca Storm coordinated from an underground bunker. She wasn't a military commander. She was a teacher. But she understood something that Velcross didn't: the Dominion thought in terms of conquest and control. They measured victory by territory held and enemies eliminated. Humans thought in terms of survival and persistence. They measured victory by the simple act of continuing to exist. The Dominion brought in reinforcements. They established martial law. They executed resistance members publicly, hoping to crush morale. Instead, more people joined. Teachers, priests, engineers, artists, people who realized that surrender meant extinction anyway. Might as well fight. Velcross launched a massive assault. He had superior numbers, superior technology, superior firepower. He crushed 3 major resistance camps. He should have won. But humans didn't have camps. They had networks. They didn't have supply lines that could be cut, they had individual people who moved through their communities like water through cracks, carrying information, carrying hope. Every time Velcross eliminated a leader, 2 more emerged. Every time he crushed a hideout, 10 more appeared elsewhere. The Dominion tried to understand the pattern. Their computers calculated that the resistance should have been eliminated within the first month. Instead, after 18 months of occupation, human attacks had increased by 300%. A breakthrough came when Rebecca's team realized something crucial: the Dominion feared what they didn't understand. The invaders were warriors, not survivors. They'd conquered 1,000 worlds because those worlds surrendered. They'd never faced a population that simply refused to lose. Rebecca gathered her people. "We stop hiding," she announced. "We go public. We show Earth that fighting back is possible." The Dominion expected a massive military assault. Instead, they got something far more dangerous: a planet that woke up. Teachers organized strikes. Engineers deliberately slowed production. Farmers contaminated crops. Artists created propaganda. Nurses refused to treat Dominion soldiers. It wasn't a rebellion anymore, it was a civilization saying no. Within 6 months, the Dominion's occupation became unsustainable. Their supply chains collapsed. Their workforce disappeared. Their technology meant nothing against a population that simply chose not to cooperate. Velcross stood in Rebecca's presence as the final Dominion transport prepared to leave Earth. He was furious, but also confused. "How?" he demanded. "You had no weapons. No army. You should have been crushed." Rebecca smiled tiredly. "You conquered 1,000 worlds where people surrendered. But you never conquered a world where people refused to give up. Humans don't break easily. We bend, we adapt, we survive. We're not warriors because we're strong, we're warriors because we're stubborn." The Dominion left Earth that day. They returned to conquer another 1,000 worlds. But word spread through the galaxy: Earth had been occupied by the Dominion, and the Dominion had retreated. Humanity hadn't defeated the invaders through superior technology or military might. They defeated them through something the Dominion never expected: the simple, impossible refusal to quit. And that, the galaxy would learn, was the most dangerous weapon of all. Kindly like and subscribe channel. Thank you.